Intel ISEF 2014. Let's hear it! All right, who's excited tonight? I'm excited. Hey, where's that guy that asked Christina to prom? I'm free. I'm open. How you guys doing? Is this your first time?
Yeah, it is.
It's my first time too. I'm so excited. I can feel it, you guys. I can feel the science in the room, and it feels good.
There you go.
Who wants free stuff? All right, you guys. You're getting me excited. Yeah. You guys ready to do this? You excited? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited!
Woo! All right, let's keep it going. Woo!
Got one more.
A little bit more. All right. You guys ready? Let's do this thing. Look at all you guys. Welcome to the 65th Annual Intel International Science and Engineering Fair here in Los Angeles, California. How cool was our pre-show entertainment? Let's hear it one more time for the very talented Jean-Francois. Now, can I get a show of hands? How many of you are competing in your first Intel ISEF? Wow. A lot of you guys. And how many have you been to Intel ISEF more than once? A lot of repeats. Well, whether you've been to Intel ISEF before or not, I know you're going to have a great time here in Los Angeles this week. In fact, Intel ISEF was here in 2011, and we are thrilled to have Intel ISEF back right here in our great city. Over 1,750 of the greatest young scientific minds are here from all over the world tonight. The amount of innovative brainpower and intellectual curiosity we have in just this room is amazing. And as you'll see tonight in our program, innovation is a key to change and making our world a better place. And it starts right here tonight with all of you. I have an idea. Why don't we get a camera shot of all this? Let's have a huge cheer for all of you, our Intel ISEF finalists, for all your hard work and everything you've done to make it all the way to LA this week. Now, before we go any further, let's take a minute and thank our many international and local sponsors and supporters. And celebrating its 18th year as the title sponsor, let's give it up for Intel. And earlier you met a good friend of mine. Let's get her back out here with a big round of applause. Our pre-show host, Christina Ochoa.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Now, let me tell you, you are definitely going to enjoy this crowd. They are amped. They are ready for this. I have a few important reminders just before we get started, but let me just tell you, exhibit violations will be posted on the doors at the Convention Center and the SSP website. Now, have you guys all been to the Intel Quad? You have? Yeah, you've been playing around. Now, the Intel Quad is in the lobby at the level of South Hall, and it will be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will be closed on Friday, however. Now, it's the place to hang out. I mean, if you didn't catch it today, there's a whole collection of high-tech carnival games inspired by the Maker movement, a photo experience, and lots of things to check out. It's a place to sit back, connect, and share. So make sure to step by any time between now and Thursday. This is going to be an incredible experience at Intel ISEF. Do not forget to share your experiences. We've been saying it over and over again. Take selfies, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your videos on Vine, but wherever you post, just remember to use the hashtag IntelISEF. Hashtag Intel
Good point, Christina. You
ISEF.
said Intel ISEF, right?
Hashtag Intel ISEF. Yes.
Yeah, this just happened.
Thank you for the demonstration, Kyle. In fact, tonight we ask that you use Twitter to submit questions for our keynote speaker, Mick Ebeling. He is the CEO of Not Impossible Labs, a great company. So please tweet your questions with the hashtag Intel ISEF, and your question could be one of the lucky chosen. And Kyle?
Yeah.
Stay off Twitter. You're on the clock.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, Christina, you want to tell us what's going on over there as well?
I'm so glad you asked, Kyle. Over here we have something incredible. How cool is this? This is Sarah Moyle, and she is a visual storyteller. Now she'll be creating a storyboard capturing everything that's going on during the open ceremonies. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on over here?
Yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is what's called graphic recording or scribing. And basically, I'm going to be capturing at a really high level.
Sorry, guys.
Let's go up.
Let's go up. We got this. We got it.
I'm going to be capturing at a really high level in a visual format what's going on this evening. And so with really simple images, you'll be able to look back later. We'll post it outside in the Intel Quad, and you can check it out and remember what was talked about here tonight.
That is so great. Thank you so much. Now, where can we find your work if anyone wanted to look at other of your pieces?
Well, I do have a website. I also have a Twitter account, which I've posted on here. So
Perfect.
it's at @SDMoyle.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Kyle, that was cool, right?
Very cool. Thank you for being with us, Sarah. And Christina, we'll see you again a little bit later. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce our first special guest of the evening. He joined Intel in 1973 and was named its first principal engineer in 1979, the fourth Intel Fellow in 1988, and was one of the initial 5 Intel Senior Fellows in 2002. His many technical and leadership achievements include being named by R&D Magazine, Scientist of the Year in 1989, and ABC News' Person of the Week in 1996. He is a trustee of the Anita Borg Institute for Women and Technology and a member of the Engineering College Council of Cornell University. He was recently named the president of the Intel Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big Intel ISEF welcome to Justin Ratner.
Wow. Well, welcome to Intel ISEF 2014. Boy, this is exciting, Kyle.
It really is.
Really is. Are you guys excited? No. I want to hear more excitement. More excitement. Are you excited? Yes! All right. Fantastic. Gee, it's such a thrill to be here and to be heading up the Intel Foundation and, having sponsored this thing for so many years, 18 years, unbelievable. But, it's a thrill to be here. It's a thrill for all of us at Intel. And so we're just so delighted. And I have to warn you, I'm going to be walking the floor tomorrow. So you got to be on your best when I come around and check it out, because I'm a tough examiner.
Get your posters together,
oh,
guys.
Yeah, you got to get it together. It's not going to be easy.
So, Justin, can you tell us more about why Intel has chosen to be the title sponsor of Intel ISEF? What is Intel's involvement in STEM?
Well, first of all, Intel, we love ISEF at Intel. You can ask any employee, you can ask the, chief executives, you can ask the folks in the, in the chip factories. Everybody loves ISEF. I've never talked to an Intel employee who isn't thrilled with it. And it's really a complement to the other things we do in science, technology, engineering, and math. Did I get that right? Education. And it's something that's very near and dear to me, and one of the reasons why I was excited to take the position at the Intel Foundation.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You've had a storied career at Intel, being a principal engineer, senior fellow, vice president, and now president of the Intel Foundation. Can you share one of your favorite technical achievements you've had while you were at Intel?
How about 2?
Sure.
One really old one and one really new one. So new that the product hasn't actually been launched yet. So I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret here. So when I was a young engineer, it's hard to imagine, a long time ago, in a land far, far away, I was given the task of coming up with a new floating point architecture for Intel microprocessors. Now, I think many of you are familiar with scientific notation, and if you've done any computing, you know about floating point arithmetic. It's the way we use scientific notation inside the computer. And I checked all the literature out and did all that stuff. And it just seemed like every manufacturer had a different way of doing it, and there were a lot of issues. But I just happened to get pointed to a professor at the University of California at Berkeley who wanted to create an entirely new standard for floating point arithmetic. And together with the Intel engineers, we created what's now known as the IEEE floating point arithmetic standard. It's used literally in every computer on the planet that supports floating point arithmetic. And it's long ago, but it's still one of my favorite achievements. Yeah. Bad arithmetic can make bridges fall down, so it's a good idea to get your math straight. The other one is very new, and I'm super excited about this. We had this idea about a dozen years ago to use silicon to build optical integrated circuits, and everybody told us we were crazy. They said, you can't do light with silicon, it's an indirect band gap semiconductor, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you, today, we have lasers in silicon. Wow. We have modulators in silicon. We have detectors. We have optical multiplexers and demultiplexers. We can literally build a complete optical integrated circuit in the same chip factory. We build microprocessors and systems on chips for phones and tablets and all of that. Wow. So watch this space, but you're going to see a revolution in optical communication as a result of silicon photonics.
So that's a little bit of insider information.
A little bit of insider information. Yeah.
Everyone excited about innovation. Justin, what are you most excited about this week at Intel ISEF?
Well, as I said, I mean, it's you guys. It's so thrilling for me to go out on the exhibit floor and just meet these brilliant, brilliant minds that we've assembled here at the 2014 ISEF. And I mean, I come away inspired. I mean, I've been a working scientist for decades now, but every time I'm on the floor at ISEF, I get inspiration. And I literally walk away with new ideas and new perspectives. At Intel, we're all about inventing the future. Right. And when I think about who's going to invent the future, it's not you or me, it's them. It's them. These people are going to invent the future. And that's why they're here, and that's why we're so excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Justin, and thank you for Intel's support of Intel ISEF and for these amazing finalists. Everyone.
Absolutely.
Justin Ratner.
Thanks, everybody.
Now, our next guest has been with the Society for Science and the Public since 2006, leading the Society's communications and fundraising efforts. He has focused for over a dozen years on building awareness and support of the importance and the benefit of science and education programming to young people. And now, serving as the Chief Advancement Officer and Interim Chief Executive Officer of SSP, let's have a big Intel ISEF welcome for Rick Bates.
Thanks, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, and hello, everyone. I am honored tonight to represent Society for Science and the Public, the nonprofit membership society that has owned and run this competition since 1950. SSP also publishes the award-winning publications Science News and Science News for Students, and I encourage you to follow their coverage of the Intel ISEF this week. We are delighted this year to have 1,783 Intel ISEF finalists. This is the most ever. You come from more than 70 countries, regions, and territories, including first-time participation from Kenya, Oman, and Qatar. Tonight, we welcome each of you into the community of distinguished alumni of the Society, which also includes alums of our Intel Science Talent Search and Broadcom Masters competitions. And you certainly are an impressive group. Your work includes preventing the effects of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, enhancing facial recognition software, reducing the risks of sports injuries, and developing new methods of cleaning up oil spills. As an Intel ISEF finalist, I challenge you this week in 3 ways. First, take the time to meet at least one person from a different country. Second, talk to someone who works in a different field from you about their research and how it might change the world. Maybe they can even help you see your work in a new light. And the third, my last one, is easy. Have fun. Please join me now in thanking our partner and title sponsor, the Intel Foundation and the Intel Corporation, for their long-term and most generous support of the Intel ISEF. Intel's support since 1997 is truly invaluable, and the reason that this competition is so wonderful and so renowned around the world. We also join with Intel in thanking other key sponsors, including the Alcoa Foundation, the Aquarium of the Pacific, Broadcom Foundation, GoDaddy, Ricoh, and the United Airlines Foundation. Together, they generously support Public Day, which is this Thursday, as you know, when we expect nearly 5,000 local students and teachers to attend Intel ISEF and to meet all of you. With Intel, we also thank and acknowledge the support of more than 70 other sponsors and special award organizations from here in Los Angeles and from around the world. We also acknowledge with gratitude Senators Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, Governor Jerry Brown, and Mayor Eric Garcetti of Los Angeles for their support of Intel ISEF. And last, but certainly not least, we are all grateful to the many volunteers, nearly 2,000, who have been working to ensure that the Intel ISEF results in one of the best weeks of your life. Yes, thank you. We are particularly gratified that the scientific community of Los Angeles has come out in force this year to ensure that each finalist has the best possible judging experience. Now, my last note, as a father myself, I want to ask each of you a favor. Take a moment this week and call mom or dad or the important person in your life and tell them thank you for helping you to get here. If you can, send them a tweet or a post with a picture of you and let them share in your special moment. Good luck to each of you and have a wonderful week. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick. There is so much happening here at Intel ISEF this week, including several symposia, workshops, and panels. Be sure to take a look at your program for all of the details. Actually, one of the great programs is happening here, right here, tomorrow, 2 p.m. It's our Excellence in Science and Technology panel. Now, over the years, Intel ISEF has been very fortunate to have the support of many Nobel laureates and distinguished scientists, and this year is no exception. At tomorrow's panel, you will have the opportunity to meet and hear from some of these remarkable individuals. And they are Francis Arnold, PhD from the California Institute of Technology, recipient of the Draper Prize 2011. J. Michael Bishop, MD from the University of California, recipient of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, 1989. Martin Chalfie, PhD of Columbia University, recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, 2008. H. Robert Horvitz, PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, recipient of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, 2002. Sir Harold W. Kroto, PhD from Florida State University, recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, 1996. And John Mather, PhD of the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, recipient of the Nobel Prize in Physics, 2006. I believe that some of these panelists are here with us tonight. Can you please stand so that we may express our appreciation? The Nobel laureates, not all you guys. Guys, are you all Nobel laureates? I want the Nobel laureates to stand up so we can see them. That's good. You're anxious. It's fine. You'll get there. 60 years, it's fine. Now, we are grateful to all of these distinguished guests for their time and for the support of our finalists. So, don't forget, you are all invited to the Excellence in Science and Technology panel. The event will be hosted by National Public Radio science correspondent Joe Palca, and it takes place right here tomorrow afternoon starting at 2 p.m. And something else that's happening tomorrow evening that you don't want to miss, right next door, join us for Intel ISEF night at LA Live. Yeah, at Club Nokia, finalists and observers can dance the night away at one of downtown LA's hottest nightclubs. All attendees, including adults and students, can visit LA Live venues including the Grammy Museum, Target Terrace, Tom's Urban, and Lucky Strike. Dinner will be served, and don't forget, it will be a great time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the future. The future is the everyday business of our next special guest. His role at Intel is as a futurist, chartered to develop an actionable 10 to 15-year vision of the future of technology. His work is called futurecasting, using ethnographic field studies, technology research, trend data, and even science fiction to provide Intel with a pragmatic vision of consumers and computing. He has been pioneering development in the fields of artificial intelligence, robotics, and using science fiction as a design tool. He is a lecturer and professor, has directed 2 feature films, and is an illustrator and a commission painter. Please give a big Intel ISEF welcome to Intel futurist Brian David Johnson.
Hello, everybody. It is so good to be back at ISEF. And now, in that long introduction that they gave to me, the thing that they didn't tell you, and the thing that is most important for you to know about me, is I am a huge geek. I am an unabashed nerd. I love everything science. I love everything science fiction. Where are my geeks at? So there it is. Yeah, they lit you up. Let me hear it again. Where are my geeks at? That's what I love about coming to Intel ISEF, is the passion behind what you do and the fact that being a geek and being a nerd is awesome. Now, I got to tell you, one of the reasons I'm really excited to be here this year is to share a stage with Justin Ratner, who you saw earlier. A lot of times when people find out that I'm a futurist, they ask me, well, how do you become a futurist? Well, one way was that I was named Intel's first futurist by Justin Ratner. And the thing that you didn't learn when he was up here is that Justin is an old school geek. He's like a supercomputer geek. He's like the geek of all geeks. So give it up for Justin Ratner. Now, the other thing that I tell people when I talk to them about being a futurist and what does it take to be a futurist is because at my job, what I do is I look 10 to 15 years out and I model what it will feel like to be a human. You know, at Intel, it takes us about 5 or 10 years to develop the platforms, so it's of vital business importance today for Intel to know what people want to do 10 years from now. So I'm a principal engineer at the company, and I essentially model what it will feel like to be a human and interact with all of this technology. And to do that, my background is a mix between engineering and design. And what I tell people is that to actually do this job, you have to be able to do the math, right? You have to get the math right, do the science, do the engineering. But the other thing you have to be able to do is to be able to communicate that out, to be able to communicate it out to other people. And that's exactly what you're going to do over these next few days. That's literally what you will do down on the exhibit floor, is you will stand there and you will talk about your research, you will talk about your work. But I would also encourage you is tell people why. Tell people why you put all of this energy and all of your intellectual power into your research. Communicate that out. Because that is incredibly important, is to talk about the passion, to talk about what drives you. Because that's actually how you can change the future. The way that you change the future is you change the story that people tell themselves about the future that they will live in. And the way that you change that story is by having that passion and going and telling people, saying, this is the future that I want, and this is the future that I want to avoid, and this is why I did the work that I did. So I encourage you to talk to your peers and talk to everybody who comes by and tell them your passion. Tell them about the future that you want. Tell them about the work you want to do. Not only the great work you've done, the great work that's gotten you here, but the great work that you will do. Now last year, I was on stage at ISEF, and we announced the Tomorrow Project's Future Powered by Fiction competition. And we're coming back this year to announce the winners. So what we did is we asked young minds to send us their visions for the future, their science-based, fact-based visions for the future. And we're going to announce the winners on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and room 411. And if you can't make it, you can also go to that website, and we're going to do a Google Hangout. And we're going to announce the winners, and we've also got a few surprises as well. Now, the reason why the Tomorrow Project is so important to me is that it's a way for people to communicate out their visions for the future, to talk about why they have passion. My challenge to you is, as you start to look around, as you start to meet people, realize that the people that you are sitting next to are going to change the future. Everybody changes the future. Because you are here, you will change the future. Look at the person next to you. Look at the other person next to you. Look at the person behind you. Look at the person in front of you. What's up? You will all change the future. And my challenge to you is that as you do that, try to make people's lives better. Do good science, do great math, do amazing engineering, do good business, but also raise the bar higher. Because that's what our keynote speaker has done. And you'll hear more from him tonight. But you have that power. You have that power in you to change the future. And you are sitting in a room full of people who will change the future. Get to know them. Find out what drives them. Find out what makes them passionate. And have that conversation about the future, why you do the work that you do, and where you want things to go. Because if you all work together, every single one of you in this room, you can make the future awesome. And that's my challenge to you. Make it great. Thanks, everybody.
A big thank you to Brian David Johnson. Now it's time for our keynote speaker. He believes in technology for the sake of humanity, and he is the founder and CEO of Not Impossible Labs, an organization that develops creative solutions to real-world problems, then produces media to ensure those solutions take flight. Inspired by an article he'd read, he flew to Sudan to 3D print and fit prosthetic limbs for children of the war-torn region, and then he trained local doctors with the equipment, establishing the world's first 3D printing prosthetic lab and training facility. Activated by his motto, if not now, when? And if not me, who? His impossible endeavors came to prominence with the iWriter, a do-it-yourself, open-source, low-cost device that enables individuals with paralysis to communicate and create art using only the movements of their eyes. Now, don't forget to listen closely and to compose your thoughts and tweets for any questions afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's keynote speaker, founder and CEO of Not Impossible Labs, Mick Ebeling. Knock him dead, dude.
Thanks, man. How's everyone doing? Nice. I am so fired up to be here tonight. I have been in the back. I'm just like jumping up and down in the back. I can't wait to get out. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys some stories tonight. I'm going to tell you about what I've been up to a little bit. I'm going to tell you about Not Impossible. So it's really based on two things. There's two things, and they talked a little bit about it. One is this concept of technology for the sake of humanity. Everything that we do at Not Impossible Labs is about hacking and modding and breaking and cracking and coding and turning something that we've had, something that's technological, into something that actually pushes humanity forward. The second thing, and we'll come back to this in a second, is this concept of help one, help many. It's taking the one thing that you do, focusing on that one thing, then we publish it open source, we give it away, and that has the potential to help many, many people. And I'll come back to that at the end. So this whole thing, this whole journey, this Not Impossible journey that I've been on started with this guy. This guy's name is Tempt. In the 80s, 90s, Tempt was the foremost graffiti artist in Los Angeles, right down here. And then he came down with a disease called ALS. And ALS is this horrific disease that renders you completely paralyzed. So I have a production company. We decided one Christmas, instead of giving our clients some kind of whimsical, nonsensical, ridiculous gift that they'll never remember, we said, all right, let's make a donation in Tempt's name. So we called his father and brother, and we met down at a cafe down in downtown LA. We sat down and I said, all right, so I got this money. What are you gonna do with it? Tell me what you do with it. And his brother, before I even got the words out, his brother goes, I just wanna talk to my brother again. I just wanna be able to communicate with him. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I've seen the Stephen Hawking thing and Christopher Reeves and those kind of talking things that you know, people that are in wheelchairs and with paralysis use, like, what's the deal? You guys don't have one of those? How do you guys talk? And he's like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Those things are if you have insurance or if you have money. We don't have that. I said, well, how do you talk? So we have a piece of paper. And with that piece of paper, it's got an alphabet on it. We run our hand along the piece of paper. When my finger gets to a letter that he wants, Tempt blinks, and I write it down. And then I start again. I run my hand along a piece of paper, and when my finger gets to another letter he wants, he blinks, and I write that down. And letters form words, words form sentences, and eventually the sentence and the communication happens. And he says, it's horrible, it takes a long time. If he blinks at the wrong time, or if I don't get it at the right time, it messes the whole thing up. I was like, what? Are you serious? Because there's this movie and this book called Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Has everyone heard of that? It's a really good book. It's a really good movie. Check it out. Here's the deal, though. That was in 1995. This is 2008. A couple things happened in that time, especially in science. And I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. I am not a scientist. I'm not a scientist at all. But I looked at that and I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's absurd. And here's the deal. We're gonna get your brother talking again, and you know what else we're gonna do? We're gonna get him doing his art again. And that's part of my process. Part of my process is you just put it out there. You commit, and then you figure out how to make it happen.
Tempt is the ultimate graffiti artist.
He's put Los Angeles on the map.
He's always been next level. He probably is the most versatile artist.
Tempt is an innovator.
People respect him. They know who he is. He's an OG.
He's such a force.
Nobody compares with his style. He's one of the top 5 in the world. Him being laid up, I don't think about that.
When you get diagnosed with ALS, it's a traumatizing experience because you're told you have only so long to live, and you will spend your time completely trapped inside a body that doesn't move anymore.
I hate seeing him like that.
There's so many times where he could have just slipped away, but he's sticking it in there.
It's all about that one phone call. Phone call that I almost did not pick up. Evelyn was on the other end.
I had to be involved with Tempt and just helping him. I had no idea how I was going to come through on what I committed to.
Our writing culture was born of making something from nothing. I laid in bed, exploding with ideas that branched out from that initial concept. That's when I knew I wasn't done yet.
So that was, thanks. So that was the film that we made, and if you guys want to check that out, definitely check it out. You can go to Getting Up Doc, and you can, in the spirit of open source, go there, make a donation. You can watch the whole film for free. So what we made is we made this. We made the iWriter. And the iWriter, I live in Venice Beach. It's a pair of sunglasses from the Venice Beach Boardwalk, which are about $7, $8. A coat hanger that we clipped and duct taped to the side. A Sony PS3 camera that we cracked open and mounted to the front of this thing. And then we went about, and I brought all these guys to our house, and we just started coding. We started making stuff. We basically came up with an ocular recognition device that allowed Tempt to draw using only his eyes. So he would, the way it would work is everyone is sitting right here, look behind me, and keep your head perfectly still, and draw the first letter of your name. And when you want to lift the cursor or the pencil or the paintbrush or whatever you're painting with your eye, when you want to lift that up, blink. And then when you want to blink, when you put it down again, you blink again. And this is what it looks like when Tempt drew with his eyes. And this is the final iWriter. Basically, if the world comes to an end, you want zip ties and duct tape, because we did everything with zip ties and duct tape. If you got those things, you're pretty much good to go. So we did this, and Tempt drew again, and we were all outside when he drew, and it was this amazing energy. His family was there, and his whole crew was there, and it was amazing. Then we left that night and high-fived and went to bed, and then we, quote, woke up the next day, and all of a sudden we were like, what? What happened? All of a sudden it's Time Magazine, Top 50 Inventions of 2010. Gizmodo, 8 incredible health inventions to transform lives. It's part of the permanent collection at the MoMA, right? And we're like, wait, what? What's going on? All of a sudden, all this other press started happening. I got to talk at TED, which was one of the coolest things I've ever done and was on my bucket list. And we're just like, what? We just were trying to help Tempt. We weren't trying to do anything special. We're just trying to help this one guy, help one. And then we got an email from Tempt. And the email was this. That was the first time I'd drawn anything for 7 years. I feel like I'd been held underwater, and someone finally reached down and pulled my head up so I could take a breath. And when we, thanks. And we got that, and we were like, all right, that's it, it's on. We got to figure this out. Like, this is too cool. This is doing too much good. We got to figure out how to do this again. And that started this whole crazy just pursuit for me of this concept of the impossible. Like, what is impossible? What is it that that word means? And here's the deal. I couldn't find anything that wasn't impossible at one point. And I started thinking, I started asking friends and asking people that I really trusted. And I was like, look, can somebody name something that wasn't impossible at one point? I mean, look around the room. The obvious stuff, computers and screens and architecture and maybe the cars and the planes that brought you guys here. But go back a little further. How about woven clothes? How about clothes in general? Like clothes that were mass-produced clothes back to clothes on a loom. And it just keeps going and back. And I was like, so okay, so I get this. So basically, everything that was impossible, or everything that's possible now, was impossible on point. This is good. This is really good. This is positive for what's going to happen in the future. And here's the crazy thing about impossible. This dude was a runner. And in 1954, he broke the record. In recorded history, this had never been done before. He broke the record for a sub 4-minute mile. In recorded history. That's a long time, recorded history. 54 days later, someone else broke it. Guess what? About 60 days after that, he broke that dude's record. So once you do something that's impossible, guess what happens? Everyone else is like, oh, sweet, it's possible. I'm going to do this too. Here we go, right? You give other people permission to get out there and do it. So it's that first person that kind of pushes it over, and then it sets off a tidal wave of other people doing the same thing. And remember the movie poster I showed you? These guys invited us to a party after we screened that movie, and they said, hey, check this out, come onto our party. We're like, all right, we'll come to your party. We got to the party, we walk in there, and they're like, oh, we've been thinking about you ever since we saw the film. And we have this theory, and we're like, all right, cool. So we're sitting there, and like, if you guys had any freaking idea how hard it was to do what you did, you never would have done it in the first place. And we're like, thank you. Oh, that's cool. But they were right, we didn't know. We just knew that it had to be made not impossible. So that started this whole thing for me, and I'm like, all right, we're going to start something called Non-Impossible Labs, and we're just going to go look for things that are logically things that should be made non-impossible. And that started the tidal wave. That started this whole concept for everything we're doing. So the next project we jumped on, it's called Project Daniel. And Project Daniel was started because I went out to dinner with a friend of mine, and he told me about this doctor. The doctor's name was Dr. Tom Katana, and he was in the Nuba Mountains, which is this region between Sudan and South Sudan. And he's the only doctor in this area. And in this article that I read about him, it talked about this young boy named Daniel. And Daniel was a farmer, son of a farming family, and he was out tending his cows, and a bomb came over from overhead. And the way it works in Sudan is that the president of Sudan, President Bashir, basically drops these 55-gallon drums. They're large Molotov cocktails with shrapnel and everything, and they hit the ground, and it just takes apart anything that's in its way. They're very crude. So if you get into the dirt, if you get into a foxhole, you're good to go. But he was out in the field, so he couldn't get into a foxhole. So he did what's pretty logical. He went behind a tree, and he wrapped his arms around a tree, and the bomb blew up, and the tree protected his body. But it took off his arms. And when he woke up from the surgery that Dr. Tom did on him, he said, and he realized what had happened. And he said, if I could have died, I would have. I'm going to be so much of a burden to my family. Now, when I read that story, I was sitting at my kitchen table. I'd come home for dinner, and I was sitting at my kitchen table, had a glass of water, opened my computer, and I was looking down the hallway where my kids sleep. And I thought, I could not imagine if my kids felt that way. If they felt like, oh, I'm going to be such a burden, I don't have my arms, and I wish I could have died. So I said, I got to do something. Had no clue what I was going to do, but I had to do something. It wasn't one of the things where you just close the computer, go to bed, shut the light off, and think, all right, I'm going to start tomorrow. So that was on July 11th. July 11th at about approximately 11 o'clock at night. I remember the time specifically. And I hopped on a plane, come around November 1st, did a bunch of planning to get there, met with some genius people that were doing some incredible things. Richard from RoboHand and guys from MIT just brought all these genius guys together and said, we got to do it. We got to do this. And I flew out to an area in Sudan, in North Sudan, or in South Sudan, called Yida. And Yida is known by the UN as the most challenging refugee camp in the world. And I came in and I landed in this camp. I'd never been any place like this before. And what I learned through having to take a couple different flights in the area is that there's, I think, some official that says on all runways throughout Sudan, we must have at least 2, but preferably 3 large crashed airplanes on the side to scare the you-know-what out of anyone who lands here. So it's not small airplanes, because small airplanes, it's like, all right, this is probably a person who hasn't flown before. It's always big airplanes like this. Every airport I landed in had this going on. So I landed, and then they took me to the compound that I was going to be working in a little bit. And that's where I met Daniel for the first time. And I was nervous. I was so nervous. It's called Project Daniel. Never met him before, never talked to him before. But this was it. And I walked in and I met him.
There's this thing in me that loves to see things that are supposed to not be done, be done. Daniel is just one of 50,000 amputees left in the wake of the bloodiest war Africa has ever known. We flew into an active war zone in Sudan with 3D printers, laptops, spools of plastic, and the goal to build Daniel an arm. You ready? The concept of Project Daniel was hatched on July 11th. And on November 11th, Daniel fed himself for the first time in 2 years. But it's never about just one person. If we could teach the locals to do it themselves, then Project Daniel could live on long after we left. And it did.
Thank you, guys. So this is when Daniel fed himself for the first time. And as you saw in the piece, that was one of those experiences that I will never, ever forget for as long as I live. It was the most magical time. The difference between, in Africa, the difference between living and dying is very paper thin. You have to be able to get water, you have to be able to get food, and you take that ability away from someone, and it makes that line even thinner. And for him to be able to regain that for me was just, and watch him, and as he got this look and the smile, it was incredible. Other thing that I loved about this experience was Daniel, when we got there, Intel gave us some laptops to share, and so I gave him a laptop, and then while I was working, he and Shaki, his friend who took care of him, were sitting there basically playing video games the entire time, right? And here's the crazy thing. It was time, like he'd be playing, and then Shaki would try to take it from him, and he'd bap him with the side with his just little stump, right? He's got 2 stump arms, bap, give me the thing back. And I was like, oh my God, look at that. And what I learned was that there's really nothing different, because I'd say, hey Daniel, can you come here for a second? I need to fix the arm, or we need to play with something, how it fits or whatever. And he'd be playing down on the thing, and I'd say, come here for a second, and he'd go, and then I'd fit him, and then he couldn't get out it quick enough and get over there and pop, pop, Shaki, and start playing again. So our goal was not to go there and just give Daniel an arm. Our goal was to get there and actually make it so this could continue on after us. Because actually proving that this experiment would work wasn't the point. The proof was to make it so that it could continue on long after we had left the building, the country, and the region. So Dr. Tom selected a group of young men that worked at the hospital, and when I went in, And we spent 5-6 days just going through the process of 3D printing. These guys had barely seen laptop printers or laptop computers before, and now they've got this thing called a 3D printer, and they're just like, what the heck is this thing? It took me about a couple hours to get them to stop making toys and combs and bracelets and like little things like that. I'm like, okay guys, we really got to get to work now. We got to get to work. So we went through that, and at the end of those 5 or 6 days, we broke into 2 teams, and each of them made an arm. One of them made an arm for Daniel, and one of them made an arm for Muhammad. And I was just like, yes, this is awesome, this is great. But inside of me, I'm like, oh, you know, once I leave, what's gonna happen? I hope they can continue. So I got on a plane that next day, and you have to go 11 hours by car to Yida overnight, hop on a plane with lots of broken planes on the runway, fly to Juba, land in Juba, busted planes on the side of the runway. Juba to Dubai, thank goodness, no busted planes on the side of the runway at Dubai. And then big flight back to LA. So it's 4 days to get back, and by the time I got back, I'm exhausted. And I get into LAX, and I flip open my phone, and I get an email from Dr. Tom. And Dr. Tom says, hey, hope the flight wasn't too harsh. It was great to meet you. It was great seeing you. Guess what? Your boys made 2 arms while you were in the air. And I was like, okay, so you guys know in airports you're supposed to be somewhat calm, right? Because all the security. I'm walking through the airport like this, woo! Just like yelling and hooting and hollering, because we had proven that this is a technology that could be continued on. And it wasn't rocket science, it was a principle of something that just needed to be done. And so there's a quote that I love, and it's this. And it's that you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. That's this really great quote when I'm talking to adults. But I'm not talking to adults, so I rewrote it for today. Seriously, who really cares about what people call reality? Reality is just another word for an excuse. Oh, the reality is this, or the reality is that. Just keep on making cool stuff. And if someone tells you that's impossible, I want you guys to laugh loudly. In fact, I want you guys to do something else, okay? If someone says that's impossible to you guys, I just want you to say either quietly, but today I want you to say loudly, not. Impossible. Let's try that again. Impossible. That's impossible. It's impossible. That's impossible. Impossible? 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 Anytime someone says that's impossible, teacher, student, I don't care. You guys, if you need to be polite and respectful, then you can just go, not. And if you don't have to be, go, not. Do whatever you're gonna do. Do not let anyone tell you it's impossible, because history will tell you that it's, okay? All right. 2 things. Technology for the sake of humanity. We talked about it. David talked about it. Do good. Just do good. You guys are so brilliant. I am in awe of your brilliance. Take what you have and do good for the world. Do something that's going to make the world a better place. You guys are this legion of just brilliant minds that have the potential to change the world. You're already changing the world. Use it for good. And when you go do it, tell one story. Help one person. And then take what you do and give it away. Take what you do and make it so that one thing, that one person that you do, has the potential to help many, many people after. You are already changing the world. Please continue. Please continue. And I want you guys to think in your own lives. Think about where you come from, your home, your churches, your schools, your clubs, whatever. Ask yourself the question, who can I help? Who is that one person? Ask yourself the question, who is your Daniel? Who is the Daniel in your life? And go and use the brilliance that everyone in this room has to change their lives. Thank you guys very much.
Now, I think we're all amazed. I know I am. The question I was thinking of the whole time is, a lot of people can develop something amazing like you did, but they can go straight to industry, and they could make quite a lot of money making it in some kind of business plan, but you took it to the people who needed it most. What drove you to do that?
It's a great question. I feel like when you see something that somebody needs, for you to kind of go like this and kind of protect it, say it's all mine, you can't play with my toys, especially when you're talking about communication, mobility, freedom of expression. It's like, I believe in capitalism. I believe that everybody here can take something and go make money, make lots of money, so you can go do more good things for the world. But certain basic needs you need to give back to people.
Sure. And in the internet age, I mean, so many things are becoming basic human rights.
Absolutely.
Now, we mentioned earlier that we'd be pulling some questions from Twitter. Christina, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Kyle. Yes, we have a bunch of questions, and I am going to start with @mstoneky, who asks, Mick, what's next and what needs to be next?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. We've got a bunch of different projects that we're working on right now. One of my favorite projects, actually, we met 2 Saturdays ago, and we had a team of PhDs and like really brilliant, talented people, and I invited a 16-year-old high schooler to the group. And by the end of the meeting, 16-year-old was running it. He was running it. He was like, all right, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and all the PhDs were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's a project that we're doing that's gonna be building a low-cost exoskeleton for kids who can't walk, to help train them to be able to walk again. Because once you create a neuromuscular relationship between the brain and the body, in terms of the brain feeling like, oh, that's what it feels like to walk, then you can slowly take the exoskeleton off, and it gives people the ability to start to walk on their own.
Wow.
Thank you. Now, there's another question that I think is really important, and it'll probably help a lot of people here. It comes from Elise Isabella 1. She says, how do you find motivation to keep pushing through, even when others don't believe in you or you lose faith in yourself?
Wow, that's a really good, you guys are not giving me any slow pitches here. If you're scared, if you're really scared, then you're in the right place.
Come on. Hey, when humanity calls, you are the one who
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, if you're scared, if you're like, I can't do this, there's no way I can do it, you're in exactly the right place. Every time you're scared, tell yourself, okay, I'm in the right place. If it's easy, if you're coasting through, you're probably on the wrong path.
Now, we also have a question from @aamori_. She says, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced with Not Impossible Labs?
Not giving up. Not giving up when we reach something. So another example of a project we're working on is that Tempt, ALS is a disease of deterioration. So his ability to fast blink, which is how it's the binary switch of engaging and disengaging the mouse, that has been taken away from him. So if everybody in this room blink hard 3 times, really hard. Do you feel that? Do you feel how you feel the muscle in there? If you have ALS, you don't have the ability to do that. So we're launching a new version of the iWriter that launches on July 3rd of this year in London, and it's going to take he still can move his eyes, so it's going to take the ability for him to move the cursor. No. That's just skill with the razor. Mad skill with the razor.
That gets applause. Yep. Yep. No.
So, but I will take my hat off again. So what we're doing is we're taking the iWriter and we're making the first ocular EEG tool. So we're going to be embedding low-cost EEG devices, and he's going to be able to draw using his eyes and just the brainwave.
Wow.
We're replacing the blinking with thinking. So he's now going to blink.
They took it away because talking about changing humanity and Walter White references, really?
Now, we also have another question from @Hacienda Josco. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it, actually. So he says, how can we join Not Impossible or contribute?
Awesome. I want every single person in here to please go to Non Impossible Labs and just say, I want to help. Because as more projects come up, there's going to be a time where we say, hey, we need a mechanical engineer, or we need an electrical engineer, or we need someone who's good with robotics, or we need someone who's good with this, or hey, there's a team of people who are out in, I just said Dubai, so they're in Dubai and they need someone to join their team. We want to pull those people together. So just go and sign up, tell us what you're good at, tell us what you're passionate about, and we will reach out to you as we grow. We're brand new, we're a year old, so we're just kind of figuring this out. But as we grow, we want to reach out to the people who want to help and kind of make these things real.
Now, Christina, I think we have time for one more question.
Then I'm going to take it, Kyle. I would like to know, what is happening with Daniel now? Where is he? How is he doing?
So Daniel is, the last that I heard from Daniel was about a month or so ago. And he was doing good, he was doing well in school. But this last weekend, Daniel's village was, and he lives right inside kind of the hospital compound. Daniel's hospital was bombed. I don't know if that's ever been done before, at least recently, where there's been that kind of an act of war on a hospital. So as of right now, we don't know. All things point to the fact that he is still alive and well, because we haven't heard otherwise, but that's kind of the last news that we got. So it wasn't the best news that we haven't heard, but we know we didn't hear anything really, really bad, so we're all just keeping really positive and hoping that the best news comes back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And I'd like to thank everyone who kept the conversation going with their Twitter submissions, and a very, very special thanks to Mick. Let's give him another round of applause.
Woo!
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Now, we've already heard from several VIPs this evening, but now is the time we get to see who the real stars are here tonight. Here's your chance for an awesome shout out. Hey, Christina, I've been told that this next segment is very popular.
That's right, Kyle. This is one of my favorite things that I've seen the last few years at Intel ISEF. Now remember, everyone, when Kyle calls out the name of your country, region, or territory, I want you to take your posters, and you know who the representatives are. I want you to take your posters and run up on stage. Get up on there. No flags, just posters. Kyle, are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do it.
Here's your shout outs. We have Argentina in the house.
We are from Formosa, Argentina.
And say you hello in Wichi, Antena, Intel ISEF.
We have Australia representing here tonight.
Hey guys, we're Australia. And we're so stoked to be at ISEF 2014.
Austria is at ISEF tonight.
Servus, wir sind aus Österreich. Viel Glück bei der ISEF 2014.
Let's hear it for Azerbaijan.
Light your fire with love for science, Azerbaijan.
Belarus is representing here tonight.
We are young scientists from Belarus. Welcome to Belarus.
Brazil is in the house.
Nossa seleção está aqui. Vai Brasil!
We have students from Bulgaria.
Greetings from Bulgaria. Prosperitet Joan.
Let's hear it for Canada.
We're from Canada, eh?
Vive le Canada!
We're glad to be here at Intel ISEF.
Chile is representing here at ISEF.
Hola.
Somos de
Chile. Buena suerte.
Let's hear it for China.
大家好，我们来自中国，能来这里是我们的荣耀，加油！
Let's hear it for Chinese Taipei.
大家好 we're from Chinese Taipei. Intel ISEF.
Rock.
Colombia is here tonight.
Nosotros somos los representantes de
Colombia.
Let's hear it for Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, país de paz.
Pura vida.
We have students from the Czech Republic here tonight.
Czech Republic rocks.
Denmark is here in the house.
Hilsen fra Kongeriget Danmark. We're happy to be here at Intel ISEF.
Egypt is representing at ISEF tonight.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be upon you.
From the heart of Egypt.
من قلب مصر.
We have students from Estonia.
tere! Me oleme Eestist ja meil on väga hea meel siin olla. Hello, we're from Estonia and we're happy to be at ISEF.
Let's hear it for Finland.
Viserys-terveiset Suomesta. Happy to be here at the Intel ISEF.
France has students at ISEF.
Bonjour, nous sommes l'équipe française. Bonne chance à tous.
Let's hear it for the Georgia Republic.
Georgia. We represent the Georgian team at Intel ISEF. It's a great honor to be here.
Germany is here at ISEF.
Servus. We're Team Germany and we're proud to present our project Made in Germany.
Let's hear it for Guam.
Half the day, I'm from Guam, where America's Day begins, and I'm so happy to be at ISEF.
Hong Kong, SAR of the People's Republic of China is here tonight.
We come from Hong Kong.
Let's hear it for Hungary.
Hi everybody, I'm from Hungary. Hajrá Magyarország.
We have India in the house.
Namaste. We are from India.
Let's keep it going for Indonesia.
Indonesia. Innovation. Innovation. Kita Indonesia. Bisa.
We have students here from the Iraq Republic.
Intel.
ISEF.
Competition.
Bji.
Kurdu.
Kurdistan.
Ireland is here.
Kate.
Mila. Polcha. From Ireland.
Israel is representing at ISEF.
Hi, we're excited to be here.
Shalom, אנחנו מתרגשים להיות פה.
מזל טוב.
Italy is in the house tonight.
Hi.
We are from Italy.
And we thank Intel for the great opportunity.
Let's hear it for Japan.
Ninja.
Michael, omotenashi.
Japan.
Let's hear it for Jordan.
We are from Jordan.
We are glad to be here.
Welcome to ISEF.
Also glad to be here, Kazakhstan.
We care. We can.
And we are from
Kazakhstan.
For the first time, we have Kenya at ISEF.
Jambo.
Kenya tuko tayari.
Wewe uko?
We have students from Kuwait.
Hi, we are from Kuwait. We are excited to be in ISEF.
Let's hear it for Lebanon.
Hi, كيفكم صباح? We are from Lebanon.
We love Intel ISEF.
Let's hear it for Luxembourg.
Hello, Moyen. Good luck from Luxembourg.
We have Macau, SAR of the People's Republic of China here at ISEF.
We are from Macau. Macau, fight.
Let's hear it for Malaysia.
Hi, we're from Malaysia. Malaysia, boleh.
Mexico is here at ISEF tonight.
Hola, amigos.
Greetings from the beautiful land of Mexico.
A country full of history and culture.
Let's hear it for Moldova.
Dreams come true, Moldova.
The Netherlands is here tonight.
We are from Nederland.
And we're glad to be here.
Let's hear it for New Zealand.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome from New Zealand.
Nigeria is representing at ISEF.
We are Team Nigeria. In the spirit of hospitality, we say,
Ekabo.
Sanunku.
And we have Northern Ireland here tonight.
Hi everyone, I'm from Northern Ireland and I'm really excited to be at ISEF.
We have Northern Mariana Islands here at ISEF.
Hoppaday. Greetings from the Northern Marianas Islands.
Let's keep it going for Norway.
Hey, we're from Norway.
I can't wait to meet all of you at Intel. Oh, hey, I know you.
For the first time, we have Oman here We have students from Pakistan.
Hello, we're from Pakistan, the land of the spiritually pure and clean.
Pakistan,
Zindabad.
Palestine is at ISEF this year.
Excited to be with you in Intel ISEF this year, State of Palestine.
We have Panama here tonight.
Hola, somos de Panamá y estamos muy felices de estar aquí.
Peru is here at ISEF.
Hello, we are from Peru
and we are proud to be here
at the Intel ISEF 2014.
Let's hear it for the Philippines.
We are young. We are fearless. We're Team Philippines.
Portugal is here tonight. We have students from Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Puerto Rico está presente.
Somos una isla pequeña con gran corazón. We're really excited to be here as a team. Puerto Rico.
For the first time, students from Qatar.
مرحبا نحن من قطر
ونحن فخورون باشتراكنا في انتل.
and we're looking forward to see you in Qatar.
Go Qatar!
We have Romania here at ISEF tonight.
We are from Romania. Bună tuturor!
Let's give it up for Russia at ISEF.
Hello, we're from Russia and we enjoy our time here.
Good luck for everybody at Intel ISEF.
We have Saudi Arabia here at ISEF.
Assalamu alaikum. We are the Saudi team and we are the future.
Let's hear it for Singapore here tonight.
SIMGAPORE. ISEF is awesome.
Let's hear it for Slovakia here tonight.
Slovensko, krajina oviec, brinzových halušiek a krásnych chlapov.
South Africa is in the house.
Sawubona.
Goeienaand.
Good evening.
Viva Mandela, viva.
Let's hear it for South Korea.
안녕하세요. 저는 한국에서 왔습니다. 나자자 대한민국 파이팅.
Spain is representing here tonight.
We come from Spain.
Barcelona.
Galicia, let's have a relaxing cup of café con leche.
When?
Sri Lanka is here tonight.
Lions are ready for the battle.
Let's hear it for Sweden.
Hi, from Sweden. We'll see you when you win the Nobel Prize.
Thailand is here at ISEF.
We are from Thailand. We're glad to be here. Hey!
We have students from Tunisia.
بكل محبة وبكل مودة وبكل إخلاص.
Tunis.
Turkey is here at ISEF tonight.
Greetings from Turkey.
The bridge that connects 3 continents and cultures.
With love.
We have students from the Ukraine.
Greetings from Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
The United Arab Emirates is here tonight.
السلام عليكم ومرحبا بالساعة، نحن من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة.
ونحن فخورين بمشاركتنا في انتل ايسف.
United Kingdom representing here tonight.
Yeah, we're excited to be here from the UK today.
United States is in the house.
Welcome to ISEF. US wishes you luck.
Let's hear it for Uruguay.
Hola, somos de Uruguay, de Sudamérica,
Y estamos orgullosos de estar acá.
y los esperamos en la Feria Científica de Uruguay.
We also have Vietnam here at ISEF.
Xin chào. Hello, it says ISEF finalists and official parties.
We are finalists from Vietnam. We are very glad to be part of this competition.
And good luck to everyone.
Finally, the Virgin Islands is here at ISEF tonight.
BI till we die. ISEF 2014.
Now, we also have some folks who arrived too late to be a part of our video, but let's acknowledge them as well. please give a big round of applause to American Samoa, Poland, and Switzerland. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are representing, they're still coming, and they're representing over 70 countries, territories, regions, attending Intel ISEF 2014. Let's have a big round of applause. You don't see this thing just anywhere, you guys. Okay, now before we let these folks leave the stage and close our program, just a few last-minute mentions. Exhibit violations will be posted on major doors throughout the convention center and on the SSP website. The Intel Quad will be open tomorrow through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but closed on Friday. And don't forget about tomorrow's Intel ISEF night at LA Live. Now, stay current and be social. Share your Intel ISEF experience with friends and family back home, and keep posting and tweeting with the hashtag Intel ISEF. Now, I want to thank all of our special guests who joined us this evening to kick off the week. Our pre-show host, Christina Ochoa, Rick Bates of SSP, Justin Ratner, Brian David Johnson, and our keynote speaker, Mick Ebeling. Don't forget to check out the visuals Sarah has created for us tonight. You'll see that displayed outside the Intel Quad throughout the week, as well as the artwork created especially for Intel by our pre-show entertainment, Jean-Francois. I've had a great time being with all of you this evening. Have a terrific week. Work hard, connect with new friends, and make some great memories. Thanks to all of you for making this the start of a very memorable week. Good night and good luck.